The story that Jordan Schultz told that Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford got together in Montana at a very high-level ski resort to talk about maybe Matthew Stafford joining the Raiders. And then Ian Rappaport comes out and says, no, they didn't plan this. They just happened to be there at the same time, and they ran into one another. So then in the Starbucks, Jordan Schultz sees the guy and then starts screaming at him. Screaming at Ian Rappaport becomes a whole scene in the next report.
Yeah, you got to love it when NFL insiders go after each other.
It's the greatest.
I mean, it's the best just when insiders go after each other.
Damn right.
Because they're all fighting for the same, scraps and seeing what's falling on the floor.
Who would you take in a fight there? I think that Jordan Schultz I'd probably take in a fight, right?
I probably would, yeah. I would think so.
I mean, I don't know if Rappaport could beat up any of the insiders.
Yeah, but, Rappaport seems to be the guy. Well, obviously, all the NFL personnel go to him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as far as information, he's one of the top guys. I'm talking about in a physical fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
Schefter looks like a grappler.
Yeah, I just like the fact that, it comes off as like a slap fight at a Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, nobody's really doing anything, right?
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, it's they're all fighting for the scraps, they're all fighting for the information. And right now, we know this, and everybody understands this in the NFL. It really is silly season time. This is where people lie through their teeth, and they'll never give you a true indication of what they're doing. Although, I think there's something to be said about when you have a writer who covers a particular team like Jordan Rannan. So he's covering the Giants. He knows the Giants. He knows what the Giants are looking for. And he has probably got some sort of inside scoop somewhere. So I'm not discounting or disputing anything that he's saying because I do think it's true.
Yeah. So he puts out, I'll read the exact post yesterday from X. He goes, it's pretty clear after a couple days in Indianapolis that the Giants' top priority at quarterback is Matthew Stafford. They'll see what happens with him and the Rams and then move on from there.
I would think that the Rams have got to make a relatively quick decision here to allow the Giants some flexibility as they're evaluating the young quarterbacks. So, when something like this happens, I always feel like a team has got to pull the trigger quickly. Like if the Rams are putting Matthew Stafford out there, let's go. Let's make the decision. Let's figure it out and let's move on. I mean, if you want to keep him, then pay him, give him the money that he wants. If you don't want to do that, then you got to have at least a reasonable ask from the other club that you are trading him to, because the other club is going to be picking up the amount of money that Matthew Stafford wants.
Yeah, I think that they would be nuts to get rid of him at this point. You know that Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have been together and had success. I know Cooper Kupp is not going to be around, but they'll be able to figure that out in replacing him. Puka Nacua has been amazing, and they were the closest team to beating the Philadelphia Eagles.
I just don't understand why you would even get yourself in this situation if you are the Rams. If you're not expecting to move on and maybe you want Jimmy Garoppolo to be your quarterback or feel like you can have him being your quarterback for the next year or two. He would be the Rams' stopgap.
Oh, yeah.
So the Giants aren't looking for a stopgap right now. They're looking for a winning team. They're looking for a winning player. They're looking for a player that is going to elevate their team to a playoff level team.
Yeah, but they might have to go the stopgap route if Matthew Stafford doesn't come to them. Because then what do you do? Then I think at that point the best option is to draft one of the quarterbacks and then have a veteran come in and have that guy be on the bench just for a little bit. And I know the pressure to play him is going to be loud and intense.
I can't impress upon you enough that I've said it and I'll say it again, that neither one of the top two quarterbacks anyway are really truly worth being picked at the top of the draft. At least right now in the eyes of probably, I would say, a good 3/4 of the people that are covering. Now, it's different if a team really needs a guy, and we've seen teams reach for people. But again, neither one of these quarterbacks would have been in the top 3 last year. And I'm telling you, given the success of Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, neither one of these quarterbacks this year would have been drafted ahead of those guys either.
Yeah, but teams all the time end up overrating these guys because of what it means to have a really good quarterback on a rookie contract, and they think all of them have the confidence in themselves. I could turn this guy into something. I can figure this out.
Well.
I could do that. You know that. I mean, you've told this to me many times that coaches believe that they can fix the guy, whether it's the guy that's coming out of the draft that has some flaws. Oh, that's an easy one. I can fix that little footwork thing here. We got that. Or it's a guy who's gotten himself in trouble in another place. I'll be able to get him on the right track. Every coach and general manager believes that in themselves. And, obviously the top three guys we knew last year, but you saw J.J. McCarthy go higher than people had expected at this time last year. Bo Nix went higher than people expected at this time last year. Michael Penix Jr. went higher than people thought at this time last year. So this always happens. And I think if you're the Giants and you can't get the Matthew Stafford deal done, what the hell are you doing? Because if you go stopgap and then don't have anybody in the future, then where are you going?
I think that would be a different story. If they do sign, I can't see them trading for Matthew Stafford, signing him, and drafting one of these two quarterbacks. Could I see them drafting a Jackson Dart maybe later on or somebody else in the 4th or 5th round? Yeah, I could definitely see that without question. But I don't see them signing Matthew Stafford to a 3-year, you want to call it $140 million, $150 million deal with $100 million guaranteed and drafting a kid, that, you're going to sit there and he's going to watch. I don't see the Giants doing what the Falcons did. Unless the Giants trade out of that number 3 spot, trade down and maybe switch spots with some other team, the Raiders or somebody else. And then, maybe you pick up some assets and then maybe one of those quarterbacks is sitting there. Then I could see that. But I don't see them going after either one of these quarterbacks with a top 5 pick if they get Matthew Stafford.
All right.
That's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts.
Yeah, which is what the draft season is. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. But I'll give you this one. Now, this is not what I would do, but let's say Matthew Stafford re-signs with the Rams in a new contract. That is no longer an option. Aaron Rodgers is gauging interest of the Giants. The Giants now say, okay, we need a stopgap. We saw he played a couple good games last year. We'll bring him in, and we'll draft Cam Ward to Shedeur Sanders. We'll have Aaron Rodgers for a year, and then we'll be able to hand the keys over to the new kid. Is that a possibility?
I mean, for you and me, that would be heaven.
Would it?
Yeah, it would be. It would be because it would give us a million things to talk about again. We'd end up interviewing Aaron Rodgers again. He'd be smack dab in the middle of New York again. It would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure on any more, though, man. I got to tell you. I mean, the reason why we were so excited about Aaron Rodgers when he came here, and everybody was, we thought he was going to take them to at least the AFC Championship game and give the Jets a chance to win a Super Bowl. I don't feel that way about him any longer. So, I mean, I think it would be more negative and not as fun, and I don't think it would be successful. So I think we got out all the fun stuff from Aaron Rodgers, and now it's more like negative, dragging negatively.
Al could ask him about the drones, which was not an issue last August.
All right, that's sure. Training camp, those questions would be fun. After that,
but that's the whole interview. Just let Al do it.
You could have him. Like I said, you could have, after last year, and we had a good experience with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
I'm fine now. I don't need to interview him again. So
yeah, the first year was a little rough, but he came in much happier last year. There's no question about that.
Oh, indeed.
It's interesting because if reports are accurate, you hope they are, and somewhat there's probably some truth to it, that he has been gauging interest to teams that he would be interested in, and they don't seem to be interested in him. That this may be it.
Yeah, but I don't know. All right. It really depends on who has a job available. So if Stafford goes, you could see Sean McVay wanting Aaron Rodgers. I could see that happening.
Unless he likes Jimmy Garoppolo and wants to play with him, which is possible.
Yeah,
Jimmy Garoppolo took his team to the Super Bowl. You do remember that, right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
and he's on the Rams.
What team did he take to the Super Bowl?
49ers.
Did he?
Yes.
He played? No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
54.
Yeah.
They lost to who?
Chiefs.
They lost to the Chiefs. Wow, he played in that game?
Yeah, he played that whole season.
Miami.
Oh my God.
where we had that great experience at that restaurant
Oh, was that the COVID Super Bowl?
before, right
No,
before.
no, right the year before
Oh,
that.
the year before.
No, well, it was a few months before. Because
didn't
remember
even-
we had the picture in the airport?
Oh, it was yes. Okay, so they shut everything down in March
So it was
of
after
2020. It was before that. It was the Super Bowl right
no,
before
what I was
that.
going to say was after that was the Tampa Super Bowl with you and Phil down there.
Yes.
And then we didn't go. Gotcha. I got my timeline straight now.
Okay.
But did he really take the team to the
Yes,
Super
he
Bowl?
did. Yes.
He's always hurt.
He also had a touchdown pass.
He overthrew him.
He
yeah.
overthrew whoever it was. I forget who it was, and it would have been the game winner. That was, that's where the Kansas City Chiefs came back and won.
I'll tell you where I lost it with Jimmy
That
Garoppolo.
was the 22-yard, I think, completion to Tyreek Hill, I believe.
And they got better, by the way, with Brock Purdy as the quarterback. But this is where I lost it with Jimmy Garoppolo. So it's the NFC Championship game. Brock Purdy gets hurt. And then that traveling quarterback has been on every single team.
Josh Johnson?
Josh Johnson comes in. He gets hurt, right? The nomadic Josh Johnson gets hurt. So then Brock Purdy's got to go back in and he can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So they show Jimmy Garoppolo on the sidelines, and the Eagles are beating the living hell out of the 49ers with the two hurt quarterbacks, and he's obviously hurt too in street clothes. And he's like yucking it up on the sidelines laughing. And it just made me think. And by the way, remember they were saying how they couldn't get in touch with this guy for the
Yes.
longest period of time?
Yep.
All of these things that were going on with him. Now you want to tell me he's reformed himself and he's back and he's focused. He wants another
You know what?
opportunity and all that
old,
stuff.
He's older now.
But I don't know, man.
He's older.
I don't want. I would, as much as I think Aaron Rodgers is done. I'd rather give him a football than Jimmy Garoppolo to be my starting quarterback.
Okay.
And that's saying a lot
and
for me.
again, all I'm telling you is that these are, so as Sean McVay sits down at his desk and he looks at the options in front of him.
Yeah.
The best option is Matthew Stafford. But do we want to pay him $150 million for 3 years and guarantee like $120 million or $100 million of it? Maybe we don't want to do that because we have paid the piper. We have we've have a lot of dead cap money, and we might as well just move on now and try to figure out who's the next guy, or maybe there is a guy that they actually love in this draft that we don't know about.
It's Jimmy Garoppolo, sort of like the NFL's Luigi Mangione. Really good-looking guy, did a lot of bad things. That's the way I look at him. He's handsome,
Very handsome.
but he's lost a lot of games. He's hurt.
He gets hurt a lot.
Took that porn star out to dinner.
He gets hurt a lot.
He went on that date with the porn star. You remember her name? I forget her name. He did that. He was laughing
Misty
on the
Cannons?
sidelines. You couldn't find the guy after he signed his contract.
Was it Misty Cannons?
Misty Cannons? Was that her name?
It was a Kiara Mia.
Kiara Mia.
Kiara Mia.
Oh, yes. Reservation for two under Garoppolo. Ma'am, can we check your coat? Yes. Can we put under a name? Yes. Kiara Mia. Porn star. Porn star. Kiara Mia. You don't want that guy leading your franchise, do you? You don't. I know you.
Not necessarily, no, but I'm just telling you that Sean McVay might.
He's smarter than that. It's a good backup. It's a nice backup to have. Experience. It's really tough to find an experienced backup that you could trust to win a game or two.
Well,
But
there
to
you go.
Start.
I mean, he has started, let's see, his record as a starting quarterback is 43-21.
I know, and he's on the 49ers, and they won a lot of games, and they've proven that they can win with a lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, so he got to San Francisco when he was 26. And let's see, he won 5-0, 1-2, 13-3, 3-3, 9-6, 7-3. And then he went to the Rams.
You know what he is?
Oh, he actually went to Las Vegas, then the Rams.
You know what they call guys like Jimmy Garoppolo?
Journeyman.
No.
No,
Game manager.
game manager.
He's a game manager. He's not going to wow you, not going to knock your socks off, but he's a game manager.
Well, that year that they did go to the Super Bowl and he was 13-3, he did throw for almost 4,000 yards, 27 TDs, and 13 touchdowns. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe he's gotten older. He's wised up a little bit. Sean McVay likes him. and maybe that is the alternative for Sean McVay. And maybe they like somebody in this draft that is not one of the top 2 guys.
Well, what about him for the Jets and Giants then, if you like him so much?
Who's that, Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Because I think he's under contract with the Rams.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
but trade for him.
Maybe he is a free agent. I'm not sure. He might be a free agent.
Yeah, bring him in then.
I didn't say I liked him. I'm just saying that Sean McVay may say that this could be an alternative.
You've been making a case for him for the last 5 minutes. He took his team to the Super Bowl. Look at his winning record. Look at all this. Threw for all these yards.
Yeah, but I'm just not dumping
Get him here.
Get him here makes a ton of sense.
Ton of sense.
I'm just not killing him like you are. That's all.
I can't have him be the starting quarterback of my organization, like legitimately be the starting quarterback.
Okay. I didn't say he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings.
No. I'm just right. I know that. We're talking about the Jets, the Giants, the Rams, or any coach that's going to hand the keys over to Jimmy Garoppolo. I think is a problem.
Yeah, the other thing is too is I haven't really heard much about Sam Darnold coming out of the Indianapolis Combine.
Yeah, I know. I don't know where he's going to end up going. That's going to be an interesting one. And he's not going to get the money that he thinks he's going to get.
No,
that's for sure.
I think is it a 2 or 3 year deal?
Probably 2. I would have. I'm not giving him a lot of money or a lot of years. I know he had an awesome year up until the last 2 games, but
2 out of those last 3 games, he needed to win 2 out of those last 3, and unfortunately, he lost 2 out of those last 3.
well, he lost back to back, scored 9 points in those 2 games. It looked like a completely different player. So I think that most people are going to look at that Sam Darnold situation and see he was in the perfect spot, the perfect guy, indoors with wide receivers galore, and we put him somewhere else.
And a great coach.
Yeah, and it's just not going to happen like that anywhere else. That's probably what the NFL people are thinking, right? And that was the perfect situation. It's like it's an environment. Things can grow in that type of environment.
Right, and there's not many other places where you could just add a guy and expect to go toe-to-toe with the other quarterbacks in that division.
Yeah, I mean, you can't grow a cactus here on Long Island. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't do that at Florham Park.
Indoors.
Right.
And by the way, speaking of that, we'll get into this on the other side, I guess, or later on this morning. Did you see the breakdown from the NFLPA and the player survey when it came to the 32 franchises?
Of course I did.
This goes to show you, man, I played for Arizona, Cincinnati, and the Jets now, not under this current ownership here with the Jets. And all 3 teams don't fare well.
Yeah, did terrible still all these years later.